Hello everyone, here in Munich, in this beautiful cinema, and of course also to all of you who are following us online around the world. I have the pleasure of welcoming you, the great pleasure actually, to welcome you to today's keynote presentation. And we know that this presentation has actually drawn quite some interest, and we would sincerely like to thank you very much for joining us for this presentation. Today is a very exciting day for all of us at ARRI, and a day that especially the lighting team has been anticipating for quite a while. And when I say that and I look around at Florian, at Zina, at so many others, Alvin, I think this is quite an understatement. 4 years ago, in September of 2015, we introduced the S60, the first member of our SkyPanel family, which has received more and more attention, and of course the family has grown over the last years, and it's become an extremely successful product for ARRI, and one that is being used by many of you on a daily basis, on film sets, at events, and of course for many other purposes. Since then, we have been watching the market, and we have been listening. We have been listening to you and to your expectations regarding the development of new LED lighting products. Today, we want to introduce to you what we believe will be the next big thing, the next NBT coming from ARRI's lighting department. And in order to do so properly, I would like to now hand over to my colleague on the executive board of ARRI, Markus Zeiler, who until April of this year was responsible for our lighting business unit, and as such responsible for the great success we've had, and of course also the development of new products. So Markus, where are you? Somewhere in the dark, or you're here? Come on stage, and a big applause for Markus Zeiler.
Yeah, thank you much, Jörg, for the introduction. Yeah, been some tremendous years, and yeah. So, very warm welcome, also from my side, today's keynote. And well, ARRI's been in the game for more than 100 years, and all those years it's been about creating the right tools for the creatives and for the creative industry. And of course, I mean, over the years, it was the main focus in lighting, especially, was on hardware and building lamp heads and things around. And only the last 10 years, it really got very dynamic. And so, I mean, yes, the advent of the LED came, and it's not only about hardware, but hardware, of course, is important. And Jörg mentioned the SkyPanel changed the game, at least that's what some customers told us. Nevertheless, we shouldn't forget about the software, because, I mean, over the 4 years we introduced several firmware updates, and this was giving you additional benefits to the product without changing the hardware itself. So the very first SkyPanel on the shelf that you had is actually capable in the same way like the SkyPanel that is leaving today or next week. So just an example was the high-speed mode. So with the introduction of firmware 3 and the high-speed mode, suddenly you could run 25,000 frames with the SkyPanel. And also then we developed things like the extended color control, where you choose a very first point, white or color point. You define, let's say, the starting point, and then you'd start tweaking in 8 different directions. And so that gave back all the flexibility, you know, that the teams and the crews need on set, and as I said, creating additional value. So we had the hardware, we had the software. The next thing was, and the logical step, to get the interconnects even further. And so we introduced the SkyLink base station and the SkyLink transceivers. So we had, of course, DMX, we had RDM, we had the Ethernet connection, but with the base station and the transceiver, either as an add-on, as you can see, or then at the 360 was already built in. So suddenly we had also the wireless connectivity. So we had already the 3 pillars, as we explained. And the third one was to get things easier and let's say an easy flow on set, not for the big desks, of course. The big productions, like probably also in the background, we have a big desk, a DMX desk, and of course we operate that. But if you have mid to small size setups or less trained people, so it was clear that we need to work on things that we, let's say, reduce the threshold for people working with our gear and maximizing the benefits of our products. So we introduced Stellar, an app that is taking care in the background of all DMX settings, so you don't have to really worry about. And it's always amazing to see how Stellar detects all the lamp heads in the network, and then, let's say, with a few clicks, you suddenly have the access to different profiles and settings that would normally require by far more on set than just typing on an iPad. Yeah. All of those activities over the past 15 years in the LED R&D, in the LED production for ARRI lighting, it all brought us to this point today. So we built up a universe, so an ecosystem, and the big question is, what's next? The big question is, can we push boundaries? And the answer is yes. But of course, what we had to do, we had to create a whole new platform. And that was this tremendous effort that Jörg mentioned in the beginning. So, what's new? It's basically everything. So we designed a new product from scratch, and please welcome with me the new member of the ARRI family.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, also warm welcome from my side. My name is Florian Bloch, and I'm responsible for the product and portfolio management at ARRI Lighting. And it's my pleasure for most of the things to come to talk about our new exciting product, Orbiter. And we come up while we were thinking about, yes, what's new everything, what is the right claim for it, and it clearly is illumination reshaped. And we will show you within approximately the next 45 minutes what it's all about. The beginning of it, what is Orbiter? It's an ultra-bright LED point light source. And it comes with a versatility of optics to provide a huge application areas to cover all that. And for that, to do this, we have changeable optics included. We come with new color science, groundbreaking, absolutely. We have, of course, advanced software and state-of-the-art electronics built in to realize that all, and always with versatility and future in mind. So you will hear me repeat variety, versatility, and of course, future-proof for very reasons throughout the next 45 minutes frequently. It's very much true, and let's go now into the details. We start with some information about the mechanical design and also the industrial design. It already starts with a question about how to mount and assemble the yoke. So even this detail has been redesigned. It was a clever idea coming up with a simple to detach and attach tool-less yoke. And you can see that quick release here, and it's all in just with a blink of seconds and a blink of eyes. This is just what you showed here, and it comes with 2 endurable friction discs, so we can't change the center of gravity. It's not necessary anymore, and I will come to that point later again when we talk about accessories. Also something new, and who of those of you who have been working on sets, on location, and everything, of course, also related to entertainment industry very often, you know what it means to transport our products from left to right, from forth to back. Therefore, we come up with this top handle, which makes it safely and very comfortable to transport it on a set, but of course also when it comes on truck. But it's more than just a grip, in this case a handle. If you take it, it's because it's perfectly balanced in the center of gravity and also in the center of the field of light. You can also use it handheld. That's incredible, and it also magnifies the application possibilities. But of course, what we have on top, we need also on the back side. So there is an ergonomical formed back handle for actually operation of the luminaire, but also it protects the backside features, which we will show in all details later as well. As we have changed the yoke assembly mechanism, we had to come up with a dedicated safety location. So we created a safety hole, but this safety hole comes with an extra feature, and it comes up with a shock absorber. So just in case, because performance is important, quality important, but there is nothing more important than safety. And therefore, just in case a drop occurs, the force to the actual housing is diminished by the shock absorber. It's a small invention, but I think extremely helpful and extremely clever designed. For those of you who already work with SkyPanels, you know that we come up with the idea of fiber reinforced plastic, the bumpers, to of course increase the endurance of our products. And the same idea, of course, we follow in Orbiter here, and we have side bumpers to avoid any accidents or defects during the heavy daily use. And definitely we know how people use our products very well. For the reason also to minimize the footprint, we decided not to by default come up with a skid. We decided let's go with only this rubber feet. But in case of those, because you don't need a skid anymore, you can have the backside handle, just keep it in mind. But for those of you who rely on skid and also give you a first idea of our accessories, we have an accessory in our, a skid in our accessory toolbox. So for the skid lovers and those people who need it, we have that there as well. And just in case one orbiter is not enough to fulfill the job requirements, we will have 2 frames, one 4 and one 6 time frame to multiply the orbiter possibilities on set. And as you can see, also this frame come up with clever idea to keep the maximum freedom and flexibility you need on set. You can then control them individually, you can point them, you can also then distract them in a variation of the application field of light just as you need it. And this is very much one of the true inventions and innovations in Orbiter. It's called the quick lighting mount, and it actually does what it says. It helps to change the optics quickly and very comfortable. And actually, the quick lighting mount consists of a mechanical interface, but also a 5-pin digital interface providing 48 volt, so that we can drive and also recognize all the optics which are in front of the orbiter. And we have not only the quick lighting mount for the accessories, in case we have future ideas, maybe also more heavy, we came up with 4 holes on the front and an external digital accessory port. So whatever the future brings, this product is already prepared for it also on that level. So, and we have a bunch of optics to show you already today. So for protection and transport, of course, the luminaire comes with a cap. And as soon as the cap is removed, we have a couple of changeable optics. We start with high output directional beam open face optics. We have 3 optics here. We have a 15 degree, a 30 degree, and a 60 degree. But open face is just one of the possibilities. Another one is projection optics. So we will come up with 3 fixed size projection optics, 3 fixed angle for 15, 25, and 35 degrees. Also, zoom optics are under consideration here. What do we do with this projection optics? We come with high-end, high-quality lenses, and that provides a perfect evenness across the entire field of light. So in terms of illumination, but also color, there is no fall-off. It's perfectly even, and it gives great possibilities never seen before for ARRI lightings. But there is more, because with orbiter, although it is a point light source, it's possible to change the kind of light totally. We come up with a dome. A dome are basically 3 different sizes of fabric spheres to illuminate large areas, but with a soft beam quality. So it's great to have it. It's easy to use. It's up and ready within seconds, and it changes the look and feel of the light totally. Nevertheless, as we come up with some more, which has been used for decades, I need to say, we have provided an accessory base plate. And with this base plate, it's possible that we come up with a couple of light banks or soft boxes. Of course, we will support standard soft boxes, like companies with Chimera, like Chimera and the DOP choice, but more, we will have also octagon-shaped soft boxes here. And again, it's incredible. You change a point light source, a hard light, or so to say hard light, and you change it just by the change of the optics in a great soft light. So it's not about changing the light source anymore, it's just about changing the optic, and you change the light as it is. And now I think it's time to come up with the product itself and not just with slides. So please welcome Orbiter here live on stage. When we thought about it, how to set this up, that reminded me of feedback which we received on social media. We said it's an ARRI lighting keynote. And a couple of people gave us a feedback, oh, I think it's the next camera. Yeah? But it is a true light source in every sense of the meaning. Okay, so you just recognized that we forgot the yoke, and now set it up with the yoke already. So that's about. Okay, I did this with a little bit more pressure and force so you can recognize, of course, also the click. So it gives you kind of a feedback so that it really sits and is fixed into the light source. Now let's see how the quick lighting mount works, and also to show you the optics. And that's the reason why we have that case here. So I start with the smallest half-peak angle, but the biggest. Okay, so attach it, turn it, and that's done. And now you have a 15-degree half-peak angle open face light, perfect for long throws. the other one which we have, and you see, I press the button, return it back, and pull it off. That's simple, that's easy, and it's done within seconds. On the upper edge, we have, with a different footprint, 60 degrees. Of course, it works in the same way. Maybe you can see also inside the reflector, and of course, you can also see the end of the light mixing chamber here. And last but not least, as we have 3, we have also the 30 degrees. And you may have recognized this is the one we also use for the key visual. And as this is just the mechanical interface, now let's use a little bit of power as well, because I would like to show you the evenness this open face reflector creates. You can have long throws without any need of diffusion. So just direct light. Now it powers up, which takes some seconds. And here we are. All right. It's a little bit lower. Now I do this in the CCT mode. And now intensity to 100%. And of course, what you expect from ARRI is a fully tunable light source, and I will, with the help of the newly designed interface, I do quickly the jumps from 2008 to 3200 to 5600 and 6500, and finally 10,000. I say finally, but the range the orbiter supports is actually from 2000 Kelvin up to 20,000 Kelvin. And now I do that, and I just quickly rotate the selector, and here I am. So we have a great homogeneous light field throughout a huge range of color temperatures going back to daylight. And you see the beautiful image you create and how powerful the light source or actually is, and this with the open face. And of course, the field of light changes with the optic you use there. All right. And to explain how this is all done, I would like to come back Markus Zeiler on stage as the godfather of that project. He will explain to you how we do that and what we needed to create that great field of light and, of course, tunability.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Florian, for that heavyweight introduction. Yeah, it's really impressive to see the basic features already, and well, we have plenty of time to discuss even more about those. Yeah, our industry is all about storytelling, and well, today I want to share my personal story, and it starts with a $1 note. It's about 20 years ago, my very first project as an R&D engineer for the LED and sensor department was actually a bill validation, so a sensor for banknotes, US dollar notes, for the one-armed bandits in Las Vegas. I never earned any money on that, but yeah, that was the project. So by chance, we were using 6 different LEDs to light up the bill, and then we used a sensor to read the data. Again, by chance, the light engine that you saw today already is also a 6-channel system. The big difference is that we don't only have one sensor, but in our field, you know, out there, can be different cameras, not only ARRI. By chance, there are a few left, non-ARRI. And but they also, I mean, there are like 1 billion sensors. It's a human eye out there, and everybody is perceiving colors different, and different applications, stage applications, etc. So the question since 15 years is how to find the sweet spot in designing the right LED engine, selecting the right details, and really to find that perfect light engine. And the solution that we are offering now is under the name ARRI Spectra. And what it is a brand new light engine with 6 channels. And I will show you a little video on that. So we have red, green, blue, cyan, amber, and lime. So totally new setup. And well, it looks big here, but those brand new LEDs are actually designed, and we have that exclusive. So they've never been in the field, so never been in our industry. So brand new, and the whole thing manages to size down from an L10 light engine 76 times to the size of a coin. So the circle shows you the L10s that are down in the corners, illuminating the stage. This is the orbital light end. Size of a coin, 400 watts, 6-channel system, fully tunable. I haven't seen something like that in the market, not only in our market, but to be frank, also in other markets, there's not that much that I know about it. So we have those 6 channels, and of course you will ask, so what about, what is the spectrum, what is the gamut? So what you see here is the XY, the CI 1931, and the blank body curve. And well, we challenged ourselves and said, don't take Rec 709, let's take Rec 2020. So how does the orbiter or the ARRI Spectra light engine perform? And we managed, and this Rec 2020, the specialists you will know, this is a real large gamut. And we managed to cover 90%, 90, of that area. So that gives you pretty much a lot of freedom to really create a lot of different colors for your projects, wherever you are in the world or whatever you plan. So, but gamut or metrics is not the only thing. The biggest challenge, as you all know, is about skin tones. And so, of course, on the camera side, we try to capture skin tones as realistic as possible, because as I said, this is the biggest challenge, but also you need to have good lights, and you need to reproduce the colors as much as possible. And the next pictures are real pictures with orbiter and made in setups of still photography or taken out of the show reels that are coming up. So a lot of energy went into that one. So not looking only into some figures, but really work hard on, let's say, the skin tones on the setups, and not only using fruit bowls, but taking the big challenge. Also, of course, well, also, as I said, lit up with orbiter ARRI Spectra. Well, a short glimpse on the metrics, and with the 6-channel system, if you design it well, so the CI is on a level of 99, so there's not much left, so 100 would be the last point. Then the TLCI also is on an astronomically high level of 95, and the latest standard of the TM30-15 also achieved is 94. So, as I said, metrics is important to compare things, but in the end, you always have to test it in your application, and I'm pretty sure you will love the color metrics that we have inside the orbiter. But of course, I mean, you can have the best color metrics if there's no light coming out. I mean, then it might be a big challenge. So it's a good balance, high color metrics, nevertheless, a tremendous amount of output. So we push out more than 20,000 lumen out of that light engine. Again, it's only the size of a coin. And this gives you all that flexibility on the daily life, on set, on stage, in projection, in open phase, in dome setups, etc. Having that said, I think that was about ARRI Spectra. I will hand over again to Florian, because we have still an awesome amount of features that he would need to explain now in the next minutes. Thank you much.
Thanks, Markus. Yeah, one slide ahead. Markus mentioned in his first session that, of course, a digital light source is about hardware, but it needs software. And with Orbiter, we go one step beyond. We're not just doing what we call a firmware or software. What we decided, we come up with something new. It's called the LIOS, the Lighting Operating System. And of course, it's utilizing and it's benefiting from a lot of years of software experience, which has been built throughout the years at ARRI Lighting in Stephanskirchen. And as I said, it comes with additional features compared to what was achieved with the 4 major firmware releases on SkyPanel. Now let's have a closer look into. We have even increased the number of color modes. Of course, there is the CCT, mainly used for white and with coming along with green magenta correction. We have the HSI for the recreation of precise colors, so huge saturation and intensity. Then there is something which I rather call direct channel control, because what was RGBW is now RGB-ACL, and that takes a long time. So this is to directly control the 6 individual channels of ARRI Spectra Markus has shown you. What we of course also have is the shell inside, the shell selection 318, and of course the source matching as well. The XY as the core of our color science theories are in as well. And XY have become more popular. And I think we were the entrepreneurs, so to speak, on XY in our industry, based of course on the firmware for SkyPanel. The feedback we have received throughout the time since was great, how accurate and exact GAFs and DP can work based on XY. But there is one mode extra. Of course, 7 to 8, there has to be one more extra, and that's the color sensor mode. So the color sensor mode is used to recreate the ambient light, the surrounding light, through Orbiter's output. And this happens on a momentary mode or in a continuous mode. So the color sensor mode works at one time or continuously updated every about 1 to 2 seconds, and gives you, you can see later on as well, then continuously the change of the surrounding light always on the Orbiter as well. But of course, color modes, which is, I would say, the core functions used, is not the only thing. Because whenever you, especially on sets or on location, but also in broadcast and all other areas, favorites are very interesting. And we, as you can see, we try to utilize what we have created on Stella, our lighting control app. We have created the same here in LIOS. So it's possible to store 240 favorites. And as you can see, they are easy to be monitored and used, and you can see all the elements of the favorite you have just stored just on a glimpse. And it's very effective and efficient to work on set, and so you can create your own libraries. You can come up with your own settings, and you easy to store them. It's easy then, of course, to load them and update them, and then, of course, use them. So I think that's an extremely helpful tool to create your own libraries. Not just what other ones give you, it's up to you, and of course, your daily work with our light sources. What is unique about Orbiter as well, that we came up with 3 different operation modes. Markus has just showed you the metrics and what ARRI Spectra all is about and what it does. And in the high color rendering mode, we achieve this exceptional numbers. It's great. You haven't seen that before, 99, 95, 94. So if that doesn't mean anything to you, the higher the better, okay? And once we achieve on CRI more than 100, maybe then I don't get questions about tungsten light sources anymore. Nevertheless, of course, we know about the need of output, and therefore we make a differentiation between high color rendering and high output. So of course, keeping numbers higher than 90 on any kind of metric it gives you approximately 20% extra in output. And 20% can make a difference. If you need more light, you will have more light based on the capabilities of Orbiter. And when there is the need to balance the noise level and, of course, the output, then we have the low noise. Orbiter comes with a fan as well, and therefore very similar to what we did in SkyPanel, and of course what is available in the L series. We use the same ideas, so coming up for this with this low noise mode. But there is more. Of course, we use this graphical high resolution display to restructure and re-image all the content. So it's now easy to get to the settings or see all the information or do all the changes just with a knob, but you can see it easily. Yeah? It's a total different experience. It's a total different user experience with the control panel. It's about intuitivity. Of course, we will have a manual. We will also come up with a simulator. But from my experience, once you use it, you don't need any of those manuals or simulator because it's so easy to get into. And once you use it, you won't like to use anything else. But lighting operating system comes even with more features. So, you know, we have increased the numbers of features. And with the increase of the number of features, we also had to increase the number of DMX channels. Of course, also with modes. And therefore, in Orbiter, we have also the possibility, again, to reduce the number of DMX channels in different modes as well. And there are additional features for the rental companies, for instance, might be very interesting. During the startup phase, so the boot phase, you can also include your own startup graphics. So of course, by default, it says ARRI, but just in case you need to put something else there, you can upload your graphics as well. Multi-language support. We are a German-based company. We put English, of course, as the first language into, but other languages as German, as Chinese, or Spanish will follow. We have the possibilities. So we start with English, but all other languages are possible in future as well. And we will work hard to achieve that because I know out there, of course, not our own colleagues, but of course, all the users out there, they would like to have their languages seen on display. And with Lighting OS, this is possible on a great and high resolution display. But all to achieve everything we have seen and said before, you need something in terms of advanced electronics, state-of-the-art electronics. So it's really something which we consider as technology unleashed. Again, the claim is what's new? Everything. And it's really everything. So the electronics has been redesigned from scratch, totally from ground up. It's capable of 125 times the memory of SkyPanel. It's 4 times faster, the processor is 4 times faster than the SkyPanel is. We have integrated the latest in terms of input and output, and of course sensors as well. So this is definitely made for the future. Of course, we always have today in mind, but always keep the future in mind as well. As Markus said, again, it's related to the idea of our products. You buy the hardware today, and you use the product for a long lifetime, based on the capabilities, the performance, and of course, the extendability. One of the key criteria we looked into improve as well is the dimming behavior. And the engineers came up with a combination of 3 different techniques to achieve the best and most advanced dimming. So it's not only extremely smooth, even at extremely low values beyond 1% and lower, it comes with no color jumps at all. It is an incredible achievement here, and we believe that it's not just a requirement from the theater business. We were really excited how much people on also location, motion pictures, had interest in that. So this is something which we have considered and turned around into a solution. And it's great when we saw it and we showed it also first time, people were amazed about the achievements we could have on the dimming behavior. For Orbiter, an internal lightweight, special designed power supply was created. So this is now built in again. But of course, for the flexibility to use it off-grid, we have a 3-pin XLR connector to enable 48-volt DC operation. And using regulated power stations makes it easy, and also then really first time to use it at 100% level as well. So no minimization of the output power or limitations to the dimming level. Real 100% based on 48 volt. And I think that's a great benefit as well. And all this comes up in a weatherproof housing. So rain, snow, inclement weather, and I know that people like it. I know that people ask for, and this is what it all turns out to be a solution. It's a great design, of course, not only in terms of industrial design, but the mechanical design, the construction. It is great, and that is what we can realize. And I can tell you, because I was there in the rain as well, this is not fake. This is what we really did, and we were all wet afterwards. But there is more to say, and it's about how to control. We showed you about LiOS, but how actually we do it. There are many ways to do that, and therefore, I would like to give you a short demonstration how to use our 4-inch screen display within a newly designed control panel. By the way, welcome back, Antje. So, here we go. And sorry, but now I need my glasses. Okay. Safety first, that is the reason why we always switch off. So it takes a second, and while it's booting, you can see, oh, it's already there, great. Change the angle a little bit. Okay, here we are. So here you see the display on the screen, and it comes with 5 quick navigation buttons and the selector, and of course the 3 main buttons for mode menu, and then of course the favorites for the user as well. I will do a quick demonstration of all of the features because it would simply take too long. So I will first of all stay in the color mode and select the CCT. So select with the blue, the selector, and there you see again 3 active knobs or quick navigation buttons, and the upper one always stands for a quick, and the lower ones you see in a second for a long press. Okay, let's change the intensity first. I do that now to 25%, and I decrease it by 10%, and then finally down to 5%. I think that's the best value to work now. As stated before, we have a CCT range starting at 2000 Kelvin. So I go to, and you see here on the long press, you have the absolute numbers, and on the short press, you have relative numbers. So whatever you like to do, it jumps back after 5 seconds. So I press 5,600. If this is not exactly what you need, then you can adjust it really fine. I don't need to turn the knob. You can do that. And if I have to do huge jumps, I can simply use, of course, with our long press button, the quick navigation buttons all the time. And let's see how that works in HSI. So back to color mode, go to HSI, and then again, it's intensity, hue, and saturation in this case, of course. I quickly press this navigation button, and here it's the same logic always, of course. You have the relative changes, and you have the absolute changes. So 120 degree, and of course 240 degree, that's the most important hue because it's the ARRI blue. So wherever we are, 240 degrees, please keep that in mind, just in case somebody asks you. Yeah? Just do quickly the jumps around. So just long press, and you see the changes, and the changes in degree are also indicated, of course, here, circle. And once you're done, you're just done. But there's one more thing I would like to show you, and that is in the fixture setting the operation mode. I told you that we have 3 different operation modes, the high color rendering, the high output, and of course the low noise. And this is where we are now. So this is on high output, and then I just go to low noise or to high color rendering. And that's it, going back to mode. So you see, it's so easy to use, it's so comfortable. And again, of course, I have used it quite a while. Everybody who uses it for the first time understands the logic behind and how intuitive and simple it is. But there is one more thing to do. I think it was already on screen. Okay. Onboard control is important, but just onboard control is not enough. So we decided to make it removable. So this time first. Sorry, need the glasses. I should have done that a couple of years earlier. And here we go. I hope you can see it. All right. Again, it's the same mechanism, of course. So there's one control panel enabling on and off board. And as it comes with magnets, of course, on the back, that's it. And then whether you are close to it or medium size, so we come up with 2 cable lengths. It's a 5 meter, which is a little bit more than 15 feet, or with a 15 meter, which is a little bit less than 50 feet. So both options are available. And I think whether you're just working on stand or also crane operation, condors, with a 50 feet or a 15 meter, most of the applications, that should be enough for. Okay, so this was the demonstration for the remote removal control panel. But onboard and also offboard control is of course important, but not sufficient to come up with the needs of modern network and communication. And therefore we have come up and integrated with a bunch of interfaces and ports, and I guide you through them right now. We have an SD card because we do not exactly know what the future brings. The only thing we are sure about is we will have more features. And therefore, but also to update the lighting operating system in future, you can use this by an SD card. For communication and servicing, communication with a PC, a computer, or servicing, we have a dedicated USB-C port, while we have 2 USB-A, one with higher power, one with lower power, for per any kind of dongles like Wi-Fi, maybe even on location with GPS dongles. But of course, you can also use it then for the USB stick for lighting operating system updates. So while I mentioned that twice, you can already imagine that we have a couple of ideas what's going to be next for lighting operating system already today. For conventional DMX and RDM, we call it conventional, but actually RDM is not so easy, but we have a great implementation of RDM already started with the L series. And of course, we follow that route here with an in and out for DMX. But in addition, and that might be very interesting then for future networks, of course in broadcast especially, it's already live today, the use of true IP networks. So we have now 2 Ethercons, so really reliable ways of Ethernet connectors here for Ethernet daisy chaining. It supports ArtNet, of course, streaming ACN, and TCP/IP. So it's already built today, but it's future-proof. And there is one more thing here. We already have integrated a camera sync. We will have the possibility to accurately, on frame, sync the light to camera. Oh, this is something which is not available right today, but it will be. And it's very interesting, I think, already to keep in mind and to develop the ideas how to use all those great features. But here we just seen what it is available via wired connection. I'm pretty sure some of you have already seen the antenna or sensed it somewhere. And yes, there is an antenna. And the antenna is there because we have integrated lumen radius CRMX solution to enable wireless DMX in and out, of course, as well. It's basically the same idea what we have already integrated in Skylink, but especially then, of course, in the SkyPanel S360. And enabling this, of course, any kind of wireless setup, and it's a great achievement. But there is more, because we always say, okay, this is a digital light source. It's somehow a computer emitting light. So what makes a digital light source extremely usable for? If you connect it to sensors. You may keep in mind that I talked about the state-of-the-art electronics, that we integrated a lot of sensors. And here is a couple of the sensors which we have included. First of all, I talked about that, the color sensor, to mimic, basically to measure and then help to mimic the ambient light in the color sensor mode. Again, momentary or continuous modes are possible. Other sensors, which are very important for the entire workflow, for the user experience, of course, but all the chain until post-production, are the 3-axis accelerometer for the pan, the tilt, and the roll of the luminaire, and in addition, a magnetometer to really identify the light source location ahead of the direction. So where is nose, where is our light? And exactly this kind of feedback you get with a magnetometer. And the combination of the accelerometer and the magnetometer will help, especially in post-production or special effects, to replicate what is really necessary. So we will be able to collect the meter data and hand on this information to the post-production and have an advanced workflow here. But there is one more sensor already in the control panel. I haven't mentioned before because it is a special sensor. It's the ambient light sensor. And of course, what it does, it dims the brightness of the display according to the surrounding light. And what is the core sensors you need on an LED light source? Heat or temperature sensors. And we have a couple of them, then of course, in different locations to keep the LEDs and the electronics at the right temperatures and the right temperature ranges. For the LED, it's extremely important to maintain the right color, the right temperature to maintain the right operation point for that. And of course, the same applies to the electronics. As I told you, we have an extremely performant processor and of course the entire processing platform. And all that, in terms of features, of design, of functionalities, of accessories, gives us the opportunity to say that this product is an ideal product for a large range of application. We have, of course, the motion picture industry. And with a high output, the versatility, you can see already here on that shot which we took from our show reel, it's one light source, but you have 3 different lights, basically. You have projection optic with a reflection on the stereo. We have the dome. I think that's the L size here to really illuminate the large space. And of course, we use a 30-degree open face and the throw through a window for that scene. So the only light which we need here is an orbiter. We have 3 different kind of lights there, but it's just one light source, orbiter. Again, we change a point light source in such a way that by just changing the optics, you change the characteristics. So whether it's hard shadows you need, large space, and precise operation, everything could be created there. And similar to that, of course, for broadcast, for studios, but also on location sets, the visibility and the variety of the optics give you a perfect tool for the broadcast industry. You can control a high quality and color stable field of light. It is, of course, a great combination to the SkyPanel. And as you can see also with light banks, it gives you, of course, the possibility to combine a softer light, a softer spread, but still with a huge light output. So it's a lot of light, it's great light, And however you like to shape it, you can do that. And shaping the light brings me to theater and live entertainment. I have already spoken about dimming. Dimming in the theater is extremely crucial. And we believe with this new dimming techniques, which by the way, we don't need a low end or a stage mode anymore in the orbiter, we come up with one of the answers to the requirements of theater. But there is more due to the projection optic. We can shape by gobo, by an iris, or the cutters, of course, the light in almost each and every way. And again, the perfect evenness across the illumination and the colors will make that outstanding in terms of quality. Something which we have already been working on since a couple of years, due to the high output and high color rendition of our existing portfolio, is continuous light for photo, respectively photo video, and especially on the workflow to enhance and accelerate the workflow. And with Orbiter, we have a great additional tool, whether you need a hard light, maybe for direct illumination or for reflection, or again, as you can see here, just with an optical accessory such as an Octa, you change the field of light, and you can change it and amend it and control it basically in each and every way you like. It's the color, it's the brightness, it's the white, everything you like, but also the field of light, hard, soft, or extremely precise with the projection optics. And all this is made in Germany. If I'm not totally wrong, since 1952, all the lights ARRI Lighting has produced and is producing are done. You might think of Germany, but actually it's not a country of origin. Of course it's Germany, but it's even, I would say, a village of origin. And here we go. Getting closer and closer, yeah? And Pulvermühle, it was called, it's close to a village called Stephanskirchen. Now, unfortunately, most of the people watching that keynote will not have the possibility to get close to our facility and meet all the great people there. And therefore, I would like the opportunity to bring, at least acoustically, I think we have about 110 people from Stephanskirchen here. And so we try to get the people from Stephanskirchen closer to the audience and the visitor for the live stream. So please give yourself a huge applause to make yourself heard and make a lot of noise for yourself so the people can hear that you are actually here, that you are the designers, the developers, doing the purchasing, the quality, and everything in terms of operation, which gives us the great tools for lighting since 1952. Thanks for that already. And to show you a short summary of what Orbiter is, we have created a show reel, and please watch and roll now. Thank you very much. Of course, with all those great achievement and innovation, another question is when? Now here, let's have a look into availability. As of today, we will start the marketing launch, so the introduction. I will come to that in a second with what more is to see. In Q4 this year, we will send out the first demo samples because we know we need to support everyone in all the regions. We'd like to have people use it, test it, get familiar with it, and I'm just afraid that once they have it, they don't return it. So the question is, will we able to supply the number of demos? I hope, of course, and I know that the team is extremely working hard on it. And of course, in the same way, they work hard to achieve a start of production, which we expect in Q1 next year. So there are so many things new, we need a little bit more time to make them finalized and ready for the shipment. And ladies and gentlemen, this is, and I think we have not accelerated in terms of promises, orbiter illumination reshaped. And it comes just to catch up with the quick lighting mount, with a great new light engine, ARRI Spectra, and with a new platform which is called the Lighting Operating System, enabling more features than ever before. And what has been already a complex, what we call ecosystem, because we have so many things in terms of LED, and of course in terms of hardware, software, communication and control, has become extended by this great new tool. And people who worked already with this product gave feedback like, it was amazing in terms of the color. That was mainly from the DP. The gaffer just said, I do not need multiple lights. I just need one light and accessories and optics to change everything. And even the director and producer, they came back and said, the speed, the pace on a workflow, it has become harder and harder. You have to be quick and to solve all, and you have small numbers of crews. So working with a tool like that, so powerful, so easy to use, and so versatile, gives them a great benefit and great advantages. And they actually wanted to have those products, but unfortunately, we had to take them out of their hands. And just in case, and I'm pretty sure that I have not even covered 100% of the things we have to tell you, we have created a greatly designed new webpage for it. It's arri.com/orbiter, and it will be live within the next minutes. So in case of to repeat what all the functions and features is all about, or just to catch up and to run, of course, through all the features and the possibilities at your own pace, please check out that webpage. And of course, we will have utilizing all the platforms on social media to distribute this information. Take the time, check out the possibilities, and you will see they are close to limitless. And saying that, I would like to thank you all in here, of course, everybody online watching this ARRI Lighting Keynote 2019, the first of its kind. I would especially like to thank the entire crew here. It's amazing what you did throughout the last weeks, I have to say. Of course, to our corporation and partners, and especially to the marketing and the PM team, and of course to everyone in Stephanskirchen who made that possible. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much to stay in contact.